Viewers, you are welcome to our today's webinar, which is being organized by the Migrant Media Network. And today's topic is going to be on Ghana and regional opportunities the youth can explore. Today with us, the person to do the discussion with us is Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah. And before I introduce him, I want to talk briefly about the Migrant Media Network project. The Migrant Media Network is a project under ROG agency, and this is a project that seeks to foster an informed decision-making process regarding migration to Europe by creating awareness on migration issues and social media sensitization. As I said earlier, our topic for today is Ghana and regional opportunities that the youth can explore. And our facilitator is Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah. Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah is a youth development advocate with special interest in youth civic participation, migration, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. He served as the International Programs Coordinator for Youth Advocates Ghana, with key responsibility as the focal person for the SDGs, and led the organization's effort to maintain an international presence through the 2030 Youth Alliance, both the first and second edition of the African Youth SDG Summit, which was held in 2017 and 2018, respectively. And he also coordinated over 4 different SDGs related initiatives. Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah is currently a member of the Migration Working Group for the United Nations Major Group for Children and Youth, where he plays the role as African focal point. He believes the SDG represents the exact aspiration of every citizen around the world, and its attainment will unleash an unprecedented social economic freedom at all levels. Mr. Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, Rhoda, for that inspiring introduction. I'm glad to join you.
Thank you too for accepting to share with the youth of Ghana and around the world what you have. Okay, so Mr. Emmanuel, we want to start our discussion by first of all letting the youth understand what migration is and why the youth migrate, especially the youth in Ghana migrate.
Thank you so much, Rhoda, for inviting me, and also, of course, there are a lot of young people all over and trying to allow me to be part of this important discussion. I think that for what Migrant Media Network is doing is very critical. So yesterday I really searched around and really applaud you guys and congratulate you for the good work that you are doing, especially also in the northern part of Ghana, where there are a lot of people migrating from the northern part to the southern part. And of course, people are also crossing international border and all that. So thank you and congratulations on the work that you are doing. And I wish you scale up and do more for more young people. So basically, when we talk about migration, we are looking at the basic definition that we were told in school. Those of us that study social studies, you remember migration was defined for us as movement of people from one point to another. And so obviously that is the most important thing that we have to understand, and more of the basic definition that when people are moving from one point to the other, we can term that as migration. If you look at it, I always want us to understand that there are internal migrants and international migrants. And so there are people that are moving within countries and there are people that are crossing international border. And when they cross international border, we term them as international migrant. And those within a particular country are internal migrant. And so for me, speaking to you right now, I'm an internal migrant because I was born and raised in the Western region, and currently I live in the Greater Accra. And so that because of work, I live in the Greater Accra, and that makes me an internal migrant. There are so many reasons for movement, and at the latter part, I will show you a video of a project that I work on with Youth Advocates Ghana, where we try to reach out to a lot of young people to understand them, for them to tell us what their views are on migrations issues, as well as the benefits that we can take and what drives young people to migrate. And so within that video, there are a lot of interesting points that colleagues and young people really share. And let me share some few, either for educational purpose. So people really want to get some level of education that they may not find in their locality, and so they have to move. People also for health purposes, if you don't have a very good hospital in your community, definitely, even in the small communities where there are cheap compounds and other things, when you go there and the condition is above them, they refer you. And of course, then you have to move beyond your immediate community.
Okay.
During that conversation that we had, one interesting thing that also came out was that people move for marriage purposes. So someone living in a particular community may not find the kind of spouse that he or she wants. And so obviously you have to explore, and that you also move to find that. And the most important thing is that most often is very central in the movement, especially for us as Ghanaians and of course Africans, is job opportunity. So we really want to be economically, stable and get some kind of a very secured income and all that. And if you are not able to get that in your local community, that will also allow you or be a factor for you to move. And so a lot of young people that move actually move because they have to move. And I'm a classical example. I have moved from my community or my region to Greater Accra because this is where my skills and what I'm doing can be meaningful. And so, yeah, so these are the broad understanding and the kind of movements that young people undertake in Ghana.
Wow. That's so educative. I want us to move to our next question, which I want you to share some of the realistic measures and things that the youth in Ghana can do at home here.
Okay, thank you. Basically, when we are having such discussions and we are looking at what young people can do at home, and of course you are using the word realistic measures, I want us to take it from two angles. So realistic measures on the part of policymakers or the policy angle, and of course we will then zoom into what youth can do. Because if you really want to do something and you don't have the right environment for you to thrive, definitely you feel and you'll be more frustrated, and that can affect whatever that you want to do. And so when we look at the policy environment and what we really need to do in order to sustain the manpower and of course make our young people more economically active and all that. And there are a lot of policies around that that I want to mention around social protection programs. We really need, and of course this is the policymakers, and there are policies, but we need enough investment in the social protection programs that will provide enough social amenities in various communities. So as I was saying earlier, that there are a lot of reasons that force people to move. And so I mentioned critical example as health and education. So if you are in community A and you don't find the right kind of basic education, for instance, for yourself and for your offspring, so your children or whoever that you live with, definitely you'll be forced to leave. And so that has to be in place. Another thing is also security of income. People have to have secured income enough to meet their current needs and pension needs. So here, when I talk about pension needs, quote unquote, I mean that social security. There are a lot of young people that are, and of course, even grown-ups that are in employment that doesn't provide enough social security. So you wouldn't be able to, you are working all right, but you don't have a future. And so in case you are sick, you are not able to go to work in the next day, or even in your old age, how are you going to survive? So these are some of the things. And most often, people are not finding that in their local communities, in their local vicinity. And so then this really propel them or force them to move out of their communities. And so we need, and that is a policy makers, it's not for young people, policy makers that have to look at that. And the last part that I want to mention before I move on to youth perspective is that we have to eliminate all the adverse drivers that affect migration. But so when we are talking about this, we are not also saying that we should eliminate migration itself, because migration is a very noble venture. Everyone must at least explore, and it's a human nature. If you look at our history as human beings, people have been moving all over, trying to look at what is happening in their next door or in their neighborhood and all that. And that has been our nature. And so, of course, we will move, we will migrate. But then what we are talking about, what policymakers must pay attention to is the adverse drivers and the negative effect around that. And through policy makings and the right investment, we will be able to drive that. The next part, of course, is what you want me to zoom in, and that is what your question actually, what young people can do. First of all, I want to say that currently we are in a very important important stage in our global development, as well as whatever that is happening around us. And so with our time, now we are even having a conversation virtually. You know, this conversation, people are joining via Facebook, and others are joining with us here on Zoom and all that. So the internet is a very important tool for us as young people. And so I always think that we can learn a skill, and learning a skill is very important for us to increase the kind of opportunities that we can tap into. Now the topic is Ghana and regional opportunities that you can explore. And so learning skill is very important. There are a lot of platforms currently that provide free kind of free courses and free content for us to tap into. So now you don't have to even travel to go to Harvard University or go to Oxford to be able to tap into the best content that are being delivered. Platforms like Coursera have these courses or this kind of content available. You just have to be aware of it, register for it, and it's free of charge. What you need is your internet. And of course, that is very important. Quite apart from that, if you really want to increase our employability and of course the kind of opportunities that we have to tap into, then we have to look at the skills that are in high demand. And so here, I'm going to share a very important platform we call the LinkedIn Learning. So LinkedIn is a very important platform. And so when you search LinkedIn Learning, you'll be able to the platform, and they have put together all the important soft skills that are in higher demand. So as young people, when we are able to get to some of these platforms, it's easy. You learn. I am a very good fan of that platform, and I've been learning very interesting skills using social media, as well as creating content, monitoring impact and progress, and so on and so forth on the internet. So these are some of the skills that are very in high demand. And when you really, as a young person, tap into some of these platforms, you increase your the opportunities for you to be gainfully employed, and then also increase your ability to tap into certain opportunities. Now, if you are a person that is also very interested in the SDGs like myself, then a platform like SDGs Academy is there. It's an academy that is available by the UNSDSN. And this is a platform that you can offer. And all these contents I'm talking about, they are free. You don't have to pay. And the models and content are high quality, very standard for every young person to tap into. The last one that I want to mention is still also on the virtual. I am a fan of a massive open online course. So let me share all those platforms. Is Acumen. Acumen is a platform that gives special content in a specialized way. So it's a content that is tailored in a particular field. So for instance, I recently took a course in fundraising for non-profit, fundraising essentials for non-profit. And they bring together fundraisers, top fundraisers across the world to share the best practices. And some of the research that has gone into fundraising for non-for-profit organizations and all that. So you learn from the best, and you learn with young people. So you are able to put together a team that you can always discuss some of the best things that you are learning. So yeah, to me, if we are looking at the opportunities that we can take, we can look at, these are fantastic opportunities. And when you are able to tap into this, you are not just useful in Ghana, but you are useful across different professions, different environments. So someone in the US can, seek for your service, and you get paid for that. So that is very important for us as young people, that I think we can take advantage of.
That's so interesting. Mr. Emmanuel, with this, I realize with this virtual communication that has now come, that you are saying the youth can explore. What about someone that is found in an environment where he or she does not have access to the internet? How can the person be able to explore these opportunities that we are talking about? The person doesn't have a laptop, the person doesn't have a phone that will help him or her have access to the internet or to the world.
Yeah, so that is a very interesting one. And so one thing that I always advise, and I'm currently also exploring how that could be done, is that young people, when you say young people, of course, you are talking about different categories. So even if you look at the National Youth Policy, the term youth has been categorized into different, I think 8 of them. So we have out of school youth, schools that out of school youth, unemployed youth, youths that are, like you are saying, are not connected to the internet, youth that are in the rural, those that are in the peri-urban and urban communities and all that. So here, I think that is an advantage for those of us those of us that have access to some of these tools. And when I say is an advantage, is that what we can do is to look at tapping into some of these platforms and looking at very innovative ways that we can make it available to those that are not connected to the internet. So that is something that personally I have been thinking around it, that if there are important content like this online and it's for free, that we can, some of us that have access to the internet are tapping into, how can we make this same content available to people that cannot access it? So accessibility then becomes the key, and how can we bridge that? So then it still come back to us as young people, for us to look at it, and we should see this as an opportunity for us to find innovative ways to bring others also to bridge the access gap that we have now. So that is what I think. These are very important content. And for us, if you are talking about education, employment, poverty, employment, and all the most important challenges that we face, then the best thing is information. The best thing to end that is to empower people with the necessary information, the necessary skill. And if you have free content that are there, then we should find innovative ways of making it more accessible to others that are not having. So it's an opportunity for young people that are, all of us, to look into it and see how we can do that.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much. And I want us to move to the next question, which is for you to discuss the high cost and risky processes of irregular migration. Some of the youths that we have in Ghana, some have the money that they want to travel with. So if we can look at the risks that is involved in they engage themselves in irregular migration.
So first of all, I want to employ all of us to have a very simple exercise. So a very simple thinking exercise. So let's think about this. As people, this is not even just young people, but as people, if you live in your community where you understand, first of all, culture, you understand the processes of doing things. At least you know people. People know your records, track records, and you have friends and all that. Imagine you being in a situation or in a community or environment like that. And then let's also imagine ourselves being in an environment where we hardly understand the culture. We also don't have enough friends. We don't have enough security. We also doesn't have any track record in that particular environment. Now, we obviously as people, there's always one thing that is we may not be able to avoid, but what we can do is probably to prevent it is as an accident. So imagine yourself being in one of these situations or one of these environments. Which one do you think you'll be able to survive or even reduce the risk, the negative impact that will have on you? For instance, if there is any accident. If you are in your original home, you may get some support. You know, you have friends, you live you have classmates, you have family people that are immediately around them that can support you. And so whenever there is accident or there is any crisis, it's easy for you to get the right kind of support. If you are in an environment, so for instance, you have traveled to Europe or America, and there is any crisis or there is any accident, imagine what will happen to you. Of course, you find it very difficult to get the right support that you need. And so what I always say is that leaving your original home is always risky. I mean, it's always, the risk in it is very, very high. So one thing that I always advise is that you have to be sure that at least 90% to 95% sure that whatever route or whatever traveling or migration or wherever that you are going, you have enough understanding. That is number one. Enough information will allow you to get better understanding. And then also you have enough security. So all this information and other things that you need will help you to be more secured as a person when you are there. So for instance, imagine me living all the way from the Western region and coming to Accra without having enough information about where I will stay, what I will eat, the income that I will make, so that if I want to say if I'm sick, if I want to go to the hospital and all that. If you don't have all this information and very detailed amount of the income that you are even going to make, if you don't have that, then you don't have to move at all. You don't have to go. So I wouldn't be able to come to Accra if I didn't have that information. And so that is what I want to employ all of us to think about. If you don't have the right information, enough information about the area, then of course you don't, because it's very risky. And I have heard a lot of stories. People talk about, oh, you go, you make it and all that, which to me, they are never true, because I've had the opportunity to also travel to some few countries and I've met Ghanaians. These are Ghanaians that are in a very terrible situation. So when they come back, they may not be able to tell you the truth because they don't want you to laugh at them. And so if you are listening to me as a young person, you have to understand that it's a very terrible situation out there, especially if you don't have the right information and the right resources to sustain yourself.
Wow. So what? So for instance, I have my money to travel, and I'm hearing this from you today. What do you think I can do with this money that I have instead of me thinking of traveling? What are the opportunities, or what are some of the things that I can do if I have the capital?
So there are not a lot of things that could be done if you have enough resources, if you have money. And so even looking at the migration, before I come to that, I would say that traveling in itself is even not really expensive if you are traveling the right way. I recently met someone that was through Connection Man, want to go to the UK. And he's paying a visa fee of 5,000 cedis, and I laugh. I've had the opportunity to get a UK visa before, and I paid $160. And if you convert $160, you are looking at around 800, 900 cedis, depending on the rate. So if a visa costs 900 cedis and someone is paying 5,000 cedis through a Connection Man, that should tell you that you are already throwing your money into something that will not bring you any, and even that you are not even sure whether you get your visa or not. So if anyone have money, what you have to do for me is to look at your interest and put it in something that is very much interested to you. You are very much interested in. And there are two. It's either you are interested in business or you want to investment, or even in Ghana, investment is not that popular. So the point about putting it in a business is very critical. So startups are very important. Look at where you're interested. To me, I always also advise that if you want to set up something, it should be something that is also very consumable. So something that people can get it, and the next day probably they will have to also get it again. So I like pottery. So pottery is an example. Yeah. Imagine if you have you have say 1,000 cedis, and you want to put it in a venture. You can equally start it. Small pottery, one or two of them, and then as time goes on, they can multiply themselves, and there you go. So if that is something that you are interested in, so to me, the interest is very important. Other than that, you wouldn't be able to even learn if you face any obstacle. You understand? And of course, scale up. So you have to look at your own interest and look at it and scale it up. The next thing is very important, the skills utilization for profit. I think that as young people, we have so many skills that maybe we don't even recognize. And so we have to look at our skills, identify it, and utilize it. One of the things that will help you to know if you have this skill or not is you paying attention to yourself and looking at the things that you are able to do so easily. You know, there are certain things that we don't struggle to do. There are people that are very good talkers. They can talk, you know, and all that. That is your skill. If you can talk very well, especially also in public spaces and all that, you can be an MC and people will hire you. You MC a program, you MC whatever, and you get paid out of it. You understand? So this is an example. And if in all these things, if you want to really sharpen whatever that you are doing, then it put us back to acquiring extra skill or extra knowledge around it. And all the platforms that I share, Acumen, Coursera, SDGs Academy, LinkedIn Learning, all these platforms have interesting courses and content that will help you to sharpen your skills. For example, if you are a very good talker and you want to be an MC, you can take courses. There are courses online that teaches people how to be a very good MC. And you will learn the tricks that will help you to be on top of your game. So basically that is it. And apart from that, one thing that I always advise us as young people is to get a mentor. So beyond whatever that you are doing, you may probably find someone that has done that before, probably not just someone that has been successful, but even people that have failed may share with you very important tips that will help you to also succeed very fast. So getting a mentor is very critical, and I advise that if you want to utilize your skill or even enter into a business, look at those in the field, connect with someone that is doing well, or someone that have done that in the past, and discuss with the person and try and engage the person, let the person support you in terms of advice. And of course, the person can also connect you to some of the places that you may not be able to get to if you are using your normal strength. So getting a mentor is very critical, and I advise it. So I'm sharing 3 main things: either doing a business, utilizing your own skill, and then on top of it, getting a mentor to support you.
Yeah. Wow, that's so educative. I know anyone listening to us this afternoon is learning a lot from what Mr. Emmanuel is sharing with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. For me, I'm really learning a lot, and I know that anyone listening to you this afternoon too will also pick a lot from you. I want us to discuss the next question, which I want you to really go into details by giving us example of how people in Ghana, especially the youth, can develop their own social enterprises or NGO that will actually interest the Europeans, or that will interest investors to actually get connected with them. We have a lot of youth that have the ideas, but how to start their own businesses is a problem, or to start their own social enterprise is a problem. They hear stories about people that have made it and they are so quick enough to also get there. But how to actually start about the whole business is always their problem. So I want you to help us by giving us examples as to how the youth can go about this.
All right, thank you so much. And I think that this is very important. We always hear about what to do, but when it comes to how to do it, it's become very difficult. And so that is very important for us to discuss. If we are looking at starting an initiative or starting a business, or of course, very importantly, a not-for-profit or an NGO, young people can start so much NGOs or initiatives in their own locality. One thing that I hear often is, there are a lot of NGOs, there are a lot of organizations, but the point is that we also have a lot of issues, you understand, that needs to be dealt with. So if we have so many issues, then we need so many hands on deck to be able to bring home the solutions. And so, first of all, your interest is very critical. And I shared some of these things in a book that I recently authored, the Leading Youth in Sustainable Development, a handbook for youth leaders and advocates. And that is more special to young people that are interested in leading any initiative around non-for-profit, not a business, but non-for-profit, how they can first of all start with the initiation. So the first point is that you need to put your ideas together. I mean, exactly what you want to do together. Either putting it together in the form of concept notes, in the form of a written plan, or even in the form of, if it's a business, then you can say a business plan, and so on and so forth. Once you are clear, so in this case, you are thinking on paper, you put it on paper. It's very important. Once you are clear with that, then you can move on to the next step. But even putting it on paper, let me say that there are two things that, let me say three things that people really look out for when they pick your concept or even whatever plan that you have set up. The first thing is your vision, or some will also say your goal. And the second thing is putting together a very good objective. So what exactly you want to achieve, specific. And when you are putting together your objective, then it has to be smart. Smart here, we are talking about being very simple, measurable, attainable, the R and T, reliable, and then also time bound. And so this making sure that your objectives are very smart is very critical. And then your implementation plan. The implementation plan will help you also come together with something that more of a budget. So what will go into that, the resources that you need and all that. So if you put together your implementation plan, it will help you to know the kind of resources that you need, and even the kind of people that you need to journey with, because most often you need people, you need to build a team. So you need people to work with. And so that is very critical. Then you can come to building traction for your idea or your project. So within your team, you need to reach out to people. You need to look into your own network, the people that you know, who may be interested in what you want to do. If it's a business, you have to look for people that may be interested in what you are doing. And so who will buy from you? Who are your potential customers, so to say? So you have to sit down and put all these things together. And then if it is an NGO or a social enterprise or whatever, then you need partners that will probably fund it for you, or absorb some of the costs that you may incur. So you put together a clear budget lines. So, for instance, if you have a budget, say that's 6, and let me say that a lot of young people with initiative, especially non-for-profit initiatives, and they put together a proposal and a budget, and they start sharing it across. That mechanism or strategy obviously has not been working for some time now. What you need to do is to engage specific people. Don't just send it across. Engage people. After you have, if you know someone in any organization that you think may be interested in your initiative that you have developed, please, when you put together your concept note, let your concept note target as a draft. Send it to the person and tell the person that, oh, I want to work on, say, around something around street children in Accra or in Kumasi. And this is the ideas that I've put together, and I want you to make some input. So that is more of a co-creation, but you are not being straight to it. So you are allowing the person to make input into that. Once the person makes input, say, oh, do this, add this one, oh, please fine-tune this a bit, or do this a bit. At the end of the day, the person make an input into whatever that you want to do. And then you can go back to the person again and say that the project is finalized. Can he help you probably also reach out to some organization, or even if the organization is interested to support some aspect of your budget? And when most young people want cash, so when they go there, they want, okay, I'm giving you 10,000 Ghana cedis, bring your bank details. It doesn't work like that. So allow them to, if it's an organization you are approaching, let them absorb such certain budget lines. So for instance, if you need a venue for a workshop, and that is part of your project or activity that you want to do, then you ask them if they can make their venue available for you. And when they make their venue available, at least then you can request for some water, and if they can provide some refreshment. So you see, you can organize a workshop without spending anything, by just using that approach. So they provide a venue for you, and because it will be very difficult as a starter, to give you money outright to go and hire a lavish, a garnish hotel of your choice. So you need to negotiate on that level with them. So after that, building traction, getting people to support your idea, knowing them, and of course you have to use social media in all this. You then try to pilot your idea. So you don't just start and so for instance, if you want to impart children, street children in Ghana, you don't start saying you want to start now, you are starting with 1,000 children. You wouldn't even have the capacity to do that. You can start with 4 children. That is fine. 4 children, work with them for a very long time, monitor. So if your goals, your objectives are clear, your KPI, key performance indicators are clear, once you start working on it, you will be able to easily measure your progress. And you have to define your own success metrics. So when you are defining your own success metrics, you know what means success for you. For instance, if you ask me who is a successful person, I'm looking at someone that is able to influence the decisions around his environment or even his profession. So I'm not looking at your bank account, I'm looking at your influence. So it's the same thing with whatever that you are doing. You have to define what is successful or what is successful for you. And so that is very important so that you'll be able to measure whether you are making progress or not. So you pilot it first. You pilot it, and then you look at how you can sustain that initiative. So sustainability is key, and sustainability, and then of course scaling up. You don't have to remain at level 1 after 5 years when we come back to you. You know, at least you should be able to add on to it. So the 4 children that you started with, for the next year, you should be able to learn enough to increase them to say 5. You know, I'm not a fan of big increment at one. It should be step by step. And so 5 or 6, then you add on to it 7 or 8, you'd add on to it. By then realize you are hitting the numbers that you wanted to hit to. So yeah, and in my book, I shared about sustainability. As sustainability, I shared 2 main keys. I pointed people and plans. So with plans, I'm looking at you having a very clear plan of how you can you want to sustain your initiative. And then with people, I mean working with a team of people that believe in your ideas, that they can own the vision that you are working on. So that is very important. When you do that, it means that when you are not there, you have people that can carry on with the vision because they believe in it and they have been working with you. So even if you are not there, they will be able to work on it. So these are practical kind of steps to allow you to get your ideas or initiatives going. And if it is a business, it's always also pass through the same path, just that you are profit oriented. So you are looking at if you are making profit or not, if your customers are satisfied or not, and all that. And if it is a social enterprise, not social enterprise, a non-for-profit or an NGO, you are also looking at the kind of impact you are making, and that will ensure even people that you are working with, whether they should work with you for long or not. So I don't know if there is any question, but this is exactly how, as young people, we can go about our initiatives.
Okay. So someone is asking that she's a nurse and she has a skill in making soap, this liquid soap. So she wants to ask how she can turn that into a profitable business. The plan she also has is that she wants to engage more youth in the making of the soap. So is she looking at registering it as an NGO, or how should she go about things?
Okay, so I think I've mentioned so many steps that she can take advantage. First of all, her understanding of even the soap that she's making, so she can use the massive open online course to learn more. Secondly, she also needs to, our advisor, get a mentor, people that are more business oriented that she can work directly with to provide some specific feedback. So if you are having some business negotiation, or even you want to reach out to more young people, how to get those young people to come to you for training is very critical. So you can look at that to get those in place. And one thing that I am very much excited about is that soap is to me is a consumable product. So when you use it, you use it to bath or wash your clothes or whatever. The next time, obviously, you need another soap to do that. And some people wash maybe twice in a week. Others once a week. If you come to our domain, I wash once a month. So that is something that you should be able to. So people will need soap most often, and so you have to get your plans right, and start with small customers, and as time goes on, you can add on to it. But one thing that I will advise is also that you look at distribution channels, those that will be buying from you. Where are they? you at least you have to establish some core customers that will be you can supply your soap to most often, and then you will scale up to it. So this is more of a broad kind of approach that she can use to go about it. But in more specific terms, I mean, then you have to put together a plan. Obviously you can't do anything without it. So a document that will guide you with your key, even your marketing strategy will spell it out. How you will even if you make profit, how you put it back into the business, and how you will spend it. Is either you are putting it back to the business, or you are using it as a young person to spend on something else. So having a plan is very critical, and you can always put together something, get people within your network to make input into it until it's very sharp enough. When it's sharp enough, please stick to your plan. But also you have to be very flexible. I mean, implementation is always different from plan. So you have to be very flexible with your plan, but you have to make sure you go according to it. And I know, I mean, she will be able to, the vision has to be clear. So, yeah.
Wow. So what about this try and fail people? They try once, they fail, they try twice, they fail 3 times, they fail 4 times, they fail. And all what they think is that they are not meant to do what they are doing.
So that is the point I spoke about, the interest. If you are interested in something, there's nothing like failure. You are only learning.
Okay.
If you are interested in something, there's nothing like I failed. So it's always a learning curve for you.
Okay.
If you yeah, if for instance I want to get to say Kumasi from Accra, and I'm finding it difficult, getting, it's something that is Kumasi that I want to get to. If I have to, if the shortest route to use flight, but if I don't have money to buy a ticket, then I can use a bus. Even if I want to use a bicycle, still I want to get to Kumasi. It doesn't matter how long I take. It's Kumasi that I want to go to. So your interest is very critical, and that should be able to sustain whatever that you want to do.
Wow, so interesting. Yeah. So, Mr. Emmanuel, if you can also share with us some success stories of people in Ghana here that the youth can look up to be able to achieve their dreams. One person I've been looking at is Emmanuel Amati, with the field I find myself in. And for me, attending the African Youth Summit once in Accra and looking at the way the whole event was organized. Seriously, I've been looking at someone like that, and being the North too, I've been looking at how can I be able to implement such activities in the North that will inform and educate the youth on a lot of issues bothering the youth. So for me, let me say, this is one person I've been looking up to. And I know there are a lot of people in Ghana here that we can look up to. So if you can help us with that.
Yeah, I mean, you have given a perfect example. I actually had it in mind. So it's a perfect example. And one interesting thing is that, this is an organization that is in the Eastern region and so on. So I'm glad that you were in the summit in Accra. And if you look at the kind of organizations and the people, that the high-profile people, and even the young people across the length and breadth of this continent that really came together. So this was a continental thing, and working all the way from in Samam. So I'm trying to say that you don't need to even be in Accra to do that. He was not he was not in Accra. He was in Samam, and he was able to pull up. And the point is that people always think that before they can do something substantial, they need to have certain level of education, or even go to the UK or US to have West education there before they can have the right capacity to do that. And so he has not had any education in any of these places. He had all his education in the eastern region, from primary up to university. You understand? So that should tell you that I mean, we have the capacity, just that we are not ready, so to say. I mean, that is the only thing that I can say is probably we are not ready to put our ideas into action. So that is that. And he's still in Ghana. He still works across with people across the globe, try to ensure that young people participate and get the right information to be part of the SDGs implementation. So that is a fantastic example that you have given. Apart from that, I want to also share, I don't know how many of you know, but if you are someone that also like business and of course also a religious person, there is this person I like so much. His name is Albert Okran. I don't know if you, Rhoda, you've heard about him before.
Yes, I know him.
Yes. So he also schooled here in Ghana. Of course, has done his master's in Gimpa and did his bachelor in Legon. And of course, may have attended some of our funny Saito, so to say, in the various communities. So he has done so amazingly well, has written over 20 books. He's a senior pastor with ICGC, has set up a company, publishing company, currently run the virtual university that empower young people, has set up a platform called Springboard that has, I have tapped into the Springboard platform so many times and all that, and I've read so many of his books and others. So that is a clear example. And there are so many of such people. Probably you and I may not be aware of them, but I know colleagues listening to us now, reflecting on our network may, get some of these people that are currently doing well, and they had all the education and have been in Ghana. So you don't have to travel to anywhere to do the big things. You have to be at home. Then you have to be well informed. You understand? Even though you are in your corner, you have to know what is happening. In New York, for instance. And now you don't have to be in New York. You just have to get your internet. You can easily understand what is happening. I'm in Ghana. I'm following the US election. I know all the campaign promises that are being made, what Donald Trump is saying, what Joe Biden is saying. I'm not a American, and I've never been to the US even before. You understand? So the point is that we have the tools, and then what we need is to put them into action, and we will be successful. And if you are a person that also like, I don't know the category of people that have joined us, but if you like music, arts, and also entertainment, there are a lot of people that entertainment people that they all started in their community. Some of them even didn't have education. What they had was their talent and the right attitude towards their work. We played the Kofi Kinata's song. Kofi Kinata, has not been to, he completed Takrady Technical Institute, you understand? But he has the talent to go about his work. And now he's an ambassador for IOM, that is UN Migration. He creates content for them, you support the work, then the campaign against irregular migration in Ghana. So, and he get paid for doing that, aside the songs that we've been hearing, all the inspiring songs. So imagine, I mean, with all your PAD, you need a Kofi Kinate song to come back to your to relieve some stress, so to say. So we have to understand that people are doing so well, and they have never had some of the opportunities that we have currently, and so so we have to understand that and work on whatever that we have now, so that we will be able to achieve our dreams here in Ghana and make the world feel our impact. Yeah.
Wow. So very interesting, very educative, Mr. Emmanuel. We've exhausted all our questions, and at this point, I want you to leave us with your last words. What message do you have for the youth when it comes to irregular migration, the youth and irregular migration? What do you have for us?
Okay, so before that, if we have some time, let me play a short video,
Okay.
Which have the messages for us as young people.
Okay.
Is it sharing? Are you seeing the video?
Not yet.
I can't see. Is the video showing, please?
No, I can hear the sound, but the video, no.
Sorry, just a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, I'm done.
I think the youth can get involved in migration clubs to educate themselves and their peers about the dangers of irregular migration.
One way we can stop irregular migration is by creating equal opportunities.
Today, I want to tell you about the benefits of migration. First and foremost, remittances. Remittances are the benefits people in Ghana receive from their relatives abroad.
My young people migrate for various reasons, and this may be due to important life transition decisions, such as getting married, furthering higher education, and also to seek medical care.
What can youth do about irregular migration? In my thinking, I believe strongly that the first thing young people have to do is to hold their government accountable and make sure that the leaders provide the enabling environment for them to remain in the country.
The first benefit is that it promotes education and training. And by education and training, we mean that individuals from Ghana go to other countries, acquire knowledge and come to the country to apply. Example are individuals that go to Cuba to study medicine and come back here to impact people's lives.
First and foremost, we have to change our mentality. We have to come to believe that there is no place like home. And indeed, we can work hard to make our home countries look like whatever country we dream of.
Okay, so Rhoda, are you there?
I'm here.
Yes, so you saw in the video
Yeah.
conversation. And I would like to just mention exactly what the last person stated, that there is no place like home. We can take advantage of the numerous opportunities that we have in our various communities in Ghana, and make Ghana a better place, like whatever place that we dream of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Within these few minutes that I've spent with you, for me, I've actually learned a lot. And I know that going back to the fields to work with the youth, I'll have a lot more to share with them with what I've heard from you. Thank you very much once again for helping the Migrant Media Network to bring this exciting event to the youth out there. Thank you very much to our viewers for also watching this particular event with us on Facebook. We'll be bringing more of this to you, especially to the youth. And once again, to Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah, we say a very big thank you. And as I said, Mr. Emmanuel Clifford Gyetuah is a youth development advocate with special interest in youth civil participation, migration, and also he has so much interest in the sustainable development goals activities. Once again, Mr. Emmanuel, thank you very much, and hoping to engage you more on issues concerning migration and then the youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I also encourage all of us to look out the UNMGCY Migration Youth Forum is upcoming. It will take place January next year. I will share, I think I've shared the call with you. I will be excited if Migrant Media Network can also share on their platform for other young people to apply to be part of that, so that we can all have very important and interesting conversations around the migration development and how it affects young people.
Thank you very much. Sure.
Abedimpo, youth life matter. Come go fiki nata. Paraya, shadi obi, kadama mobin tukan. The bombero kwaya for panapado. Bakwa cafe baby, I wash her own quality, you know. One nation man, your begging is zika. Wash our wabasa, no muga woro. Bakwe go through one point, they be answer them into you know. Mama, padama guy throwing in there. I got my racing. Eh, to go na purple. I shall rush it. Your life is so precious, so sister. Shayina, I'm wasting no brother. But waste you all, Libya, and I will feel. Now, share.